Hello everybody, let's examine the microscopic anatomy of the pituitary gland. It's connected to the hypothalamus, so now I'm drawing a sagittal section to the hypothalamus. Here is the optic chiasma, the crossing of the optic nerves. This is the wall of the hypothalamus. It contains the third brain ventricle, and through the infundibulum it continues to the neurohypophysis. The hypothalamus contains neurosecretory neurons associated in nuclei such as the supraoptic nucleus with the bodies of neurons and the paraventricular nucleus with those cell bodies of some other neurons, but the axons are traveling through the infundibulum into the neurohypophysis. The terminal parts are dilated. Terminal parts of these axons are dilated, and the neurohypophysis is supplied via the inferior hypophyseal artery, which branches here and splits into a capillary network into which the hormones are released from these axon terminals. And the resulting vein is a tributary of the hypophyseal collecting vein. Okay, so let's label this. This is the supraoptic nucleus. A nucleus in this context means a group of cell bodies of neurons. Here will be the paraventricular hypothalamic nucleus with its neurons. Here are the axons. They form the so-called hypothalamo-hypophyseal tract. The axon terminals are also known as the Herring's bodies. And there are two types of hormones released into this capillary network supplied by the inferior hypophyseal artery. Namely the oxytocin, which is a peptidic hormone causing the contraction of the myometrium. That's the smooth muscle layer of the uterus, which is especially sensitive to oxytocin during the labor. It also causes contraction of myoepithelial cells in breast gland. Another hormone is also a peptide. It's called ADH, which stands for antidiuretic hormone. And it decreases the volume of urine by opening water channels called aquaporins in the collecting ducts of the kidney, so more water could be retained in the body and less is lost. This is the hypophyseal collecting vein. And here there is a capillary plexus. So it's obvious then if this is the hypothalamus with the third ventricle, third brain ventricle, and this would be the connecting part, the so-called infundibulum, then it's clear that the hypothalamus forms an anatomical continuum with the posterior part of the hypophysis, which is called the neurohypophysis. It's made of nervous tissue, and it also contains supporting neuroglial cells that are here, and they are similar to astrocytes with branching processes, and they are called pituitary as the pituitary gland. Supporting neuroglia cells similar to astrocytes. Now, it's obvious that the hypothalamus forms an anatomical continuum with the neurohypophysis. The anterior part is called adenohypophysis. It's of different embryonic origin. It secondarily merges with the neurohypophysis during the embryonic development. That's why we have sometimes even some cavities on this interface. So this will be the adenohypophysis. And it is a completely different histological structure. There is also a connection between the hypothalamus and the adenohypophysis, but this time it occurs through vascular plexuses. We got more neurosecretory nuclei in the hypothalamus, so neurons here with axons, and they produce hormones that are transported into adenohypophysis. There is the superior hypophyseal artery, which provides branches for the adenohypophysis, and also for a capillary plexus that goes to the hypothalamus, and it returns back with these hormones back into the adenohypophysis, to form a secondary capillary network, which is then drained via veins or venules that will join the hypophyseal collecting vein, which then carries the blood away into the sinus cavernosus. So this was the superior hypophyseal artery. This is a neurosecretory nucleus, or one of many neurosecretory nuclei in the wall of the hypothalamus, and these are axons, and this plexus will be marked as 1, and this plexus will be marked as 2. So 1 is the primary capillary plexus. Two is a secondary capillary plexus, and both plexuses together form the hypothalamo-hypophyseal portal system. Portal system in this context means that there are two microcirculations arranged in series. So the hormones are transported from the hypothalamus into the hypophysis. There is the neurosecretion of the hypothalamus, and these products are clearly affecting the activity of the adenohypophysis. Either there are positive or stimulating substances called liberins, or they are inhibiting substances called statins. Now, the histology of adenohypophysis is formed by trabecular epithelium and some interstitial connective tissue, and we will basically we will notice three types of cells in the routine staining: some that do not stain, some that are eosinophilic, and some that are rather basophilic. Of course, there are many sinusoids and capillaries here. So there is trabecular epithelium here. And sinusoids. And the epithelium is as follows. The cells that do not stain are called chromophobes. And they, as far as we know, they don't produce any hormone. Then we got these eosinophilic cells with eosinophilic cytoplasm. They are known as the eosinophils or acidophils, it means the same. And there are two types of eosinophils. One that produces somatotropic hormone, or growth hormone. Another type of eosinophils is producing prolactin. And then we have those that appear as basophils, or the basophilic cytoplasm. And there are various types of basophils, some that are producing thyroid stimulating hormone, TSH, thyroid stimulating hormone. Other basophils are producing adrenocorticotropic hormone, that affects the activity of adrenal gland. Other basophils are producing melanocyte stimulating hormone, MSH. That promotes the activity of pigment cells. And then we have two hormones that affect the gonads: the follicular stimulating hormone, Well, in ovaries, it does what the name says, so it supports the growth and maturation of ovarian follicles. Ovarian follicle is an oocyte in various stages of maturation, surrounded by some follicular cells. But it also has a function. It affects testes, and their target cells are Sertoli cells that support spermatogenesis. And there is another hormone that affects the gonads, namely the luteinization hormone. And again, in ovaries, it promotes the formation of corpus luteum. The yellow body, that's a mighty producer of hormones, of ovarian hormones, after the ovulation. But it also has target cells in testes, where the target cells are called Leydig cells, and Leydig cells are producing androgens, right? Male sex hormones. Together, FSH and LH, they are known as gonadotropins. And due to these microscopic connections between the hypothalamus and the hypophysis, the whole system is also known as the hypothalamo-hypophyseal system, and it plays a very important role in homeostasis and in connecting the central nervous system with the peripheral endocrine glands.